We continue our report on the tragic shooting in Paris. We're joined now by former FBI agent Jack Cloonan, who can give us some insight into the ongoing investigation. Jack joins us from Scarborough, Maine. Hey, Jack, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Debbie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, it's very early in this. This incident just happened earlier today in Paris, so there's a lot to learn. To our understanding, there's no direct U.S. involvement in this act. So how will the FBI be of assistance to the French government?
Well, I think as the president articulated, the FBI will give the support that it can, largely on an intel basis, and maybe they might lend some forensic support, but it'll be very limited. The French will want to do this very much on their own. This is a French tragedy, and they will take the lead, no doubt about that.
And I was going to ask you, Jack, do the French really even need our help in this?
Not necessarily. Now, once they've identified, and I believe that the reports are accurate, that they have the 3 suspects identified, things will begin to unfold rather quickly because one of them has a prior criminal record. So that presupposes that they have DNA, they have fingerprints, they have all that stuff. Really what they're looking for now is to find these people as quickly as possible, because if they are on their own and they've gone to ground, or if they have a support network, they need to find that out, because the French public is really at risk at this point. Whether they're still in Paris or they've gone back to a suburb of Paris really is moot. If they need help, if they need money, if they need food, if they need transportation, then they will have to act. And once they act, that brings it out into the public sphere. And if they decide to take innocent civilians as hostages, then we could find ourselves in a very, very difficult situation. So the French know what they're doing. They have the assets to bring this to a logical conclusion. What they're struggling with right now is what any police department in a large metropolitan area has to confront, and that is there are so many places to hide. When people don't want to find you, you can go dormant for a long period of time.
Especially in a large metropolitan city like Paris. Well, let me ask you, knowing their identity, I'm imagining that's a sea change for the investigation. I'm thinking back to the Boston Marathon bombing when we had surveillance photos of the suspects, but at first didn't know who they were. How crucial is it to know so quickly who they are, and how does that change the approach for the investigation?
Well, once it breaks in the news, and the French government has not acknowledged that they know the identity, but sooner or later, the attackers will know that, and that's a kind of a mixed blessing, because they'll know, the attackers will know that they have been identified, and that will cause action, and that's when we have the problems. So, as I said a moment ago, the timeline is extremely important. I would expect that we will see something within the next 48 hours. I really do.
You know, we know a few things about how this happened because there were surviving eyewitnesses. Some of these eyewitnesses, who are not experts, said that this seemed like it was perpetrated by gunmen who were trained and very skilled at what they do. How does that, in fact, affect the investigation of whether or not these are, if you will, experts?
Well, Debbie, let me take a little bit of issue with that, and issue with the prior interviewee that you had. It really doesn't take a lot of training to fire Kalashnikov. It's a very simple weapon, and that's why everybody uses it. The fact that they obscured their identity, the fact that they stood and fired standing up, really doesn't require a lot of training whatsoever. In fact, you could argue that they went to the wrong address at first. At least that's what's been reported.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what really this is about is we have a person, at least one of them, who has a prior criminal record, has gone and fought overseas. That in and of itself is a violation of French law. So this was meting out revenge. It was revenge, whether you want to say it's because of the defaming the Prophet Muhammad, for whatever reason. It was meant to bring fear to the capital of France. It was meant to challenge the French government in a profound and despicable way, and that's what it's done, because we are talking about this on a worldwide basis, and it's causing the French public to have a very serious conversation with itself about how it does treat Muslims.
Yeah, indeed, and it's raising that conversation specifically. Jack, we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but it's so good to see you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.